and the market's down. Nobody, like, this is all based on the fact that the market's down, right? If a market was booming, who doesn't want their own apartment? Well, it's down, folks. The market is down. And any business owner, anybody that's trying to feed you any other information, they're lying to you. The market is so down right now. We're sending out tens of millions of dollars worth of estimates, and we're always in the market of it. And so we get that feedback, and over 85% of those tens of millions of dollars of estimates those projects are being placed on hold due to what? Interest rates. Interest rates. And interest rates are the catalyst to what? Big money. It's the biggest catalyst to if someone's going to build a multifamily project or not. Interest rates, that's the biggest catalyst.
How much do you think it can affect? Or why do you think interest rates affect the construction market so much?
Well, because I mean, then we're getting into finance, dude. Like some of these, I know a developer friend that got his interest rate and build a multifamily, did about $30 million worth of multifamily, and his interest rate was around 3 or 4% a couple of years ago, and right now his loans due to regurgitate, I'm gonna call it, and he's gonna have to pay like 7% interest, and that interest payment right there's millions of dollars worth in a year. Well, guess what, folks? Like, vacancy is down. Like, this same friend, this same apartment said that in a matter of 6 months, his apartment buildings went from 100% vacancy to below 80, and is dropping monthly.
Where's everybody going?
They're consolidating with their parents. They're consolidating with their friends, like moving in. I know a couple friends right now, they're talking about moving in with their other friends to consolidate.
It's because it's too fucking expensive.
Yeah. Like, and all of us in construction, it's just like, oh, we're bidding so much. I seen a post the other day. We got this much bid out. But what they didn't tell you is 80 to 90% of what they bid out isn't going to go. Let alone you're not going to get the job. It's not going to go. That's the problem we're dealing with. We went from 3 to 4% interest to 7 to 8% interest. And that's killing the multifamily market. And there was a lot of projects. Like, people still say, oh, there's so much building going on. There's so many multifamily stuff going on. Without understanding the fact that when you start one of these big multifamily projects, they take years to complete. So let's say we have a couple that we started in the first of 2023 that's still going today. You can't really back out without losing just tons of money and resources.
Yeah.
You're better off to take the loss.
How long does it usually take from when they want to decide to build a building to when the framers get started?
Well, let's break that down. So when I buy a piece of land, and when I develop some plans and get some dirt work and all that tested out, develop some plans, you're a good year from that point to there. And then your plans are usually about 30 to 50% done. You get a budget number. Then you start the process to go into banks. And from that process, from 30% plans complete to actually finding a contractor, you go through a couple different steps there to actually finding a contractor. You're another year. So I would say you're 2 to 2.5, and sometimes maybe 3 years before you're bring your dream to a contractor.
Oh, okay. That's
and then
process.
A contractor mobilizes, and depending on if it's slab on grade, if it's slab on grade and it doesn't have podium decks, we do a lot of podium decks. Then if it's slab on grade, it's maybe 4 or 5 months at the max. If it's podium deck, it's another year. So we have competitors that won a couple projects from us back in the end of 2022. They're barely starting framing. And so it's like, they have this false idea that business is good still, but they're not realizing that they're just got lucky and got that job. Luck, I mean, may the best man win. Luck is irrelevant. May the best man win. But the market is down. It is time to shift. It is time to change your thoughts. Like in our scenario, about 75-80% of our work was multifamily. So we're affected big time on this. And so like this is a whole nother scenario, but it ties right into market. What do I do as a business owner when the market's down like this?
What do?
I have to figure out how to consolidate tasks. So before there's a couple ways to eliminate overhead.
Okay, get rid of overhead.
Get rid of equipment, get rid of hopefully if you're a smart business owner, you don't have junk anyway.
Yeah.
So like for us, we have equipment's our overhead, and then people, the two most valuable things, right? We don't do a lot of unnecessary spending, a lot of parties and all that stuff. So it's not a big culture change because I seen this coming. Anyways, but so what we're doing is we're going to be consolidating equipment. We're going to be taking the old paid off equipment, selling them, probably an auction, and paying off a couple other pieces of equipment that can last, and getting that part out of our overhead.
Cut some overhead. Our
monthly overhead. Another thing we're doing is we're consolidating tasks. And the reason why I say consolidating tasks versus consolidating and laying off people is because you want to look at it from the standpoint of consolidating those tasks. You don't want to look at it as you're trying to get rid of people. Why? Because that's secondary. Because the people, everyone in the room, everyone in your business helped you get where you're at today. So you don't want to try to get rid of them right up front, but you want to consolidate the tasks. Maybe they're good with a 20-30% pay cut, because that's the reality of this market, folks. Like, this market is terrible. And if we're over, look at the stats. 900,000 additional doors already in construction, with over 2025 and 2026, with 400,000 being additional being released in 2024. 400,000 to 600,000. I see both of that. So that is massive going into a market downturn. People's savings are terrible. Nobody has savings anymore but me. Why? Because I saved up for this. I seen it coming. I don't buy the boats. I don't buy the fancy cars. I don't buy any of that bullshit that's going to take away from my savings, my cash flow, my investments, because I seen this coming, and I know it's the most important thing. So all these factors, everything's down. Credit card debt's up everywhere. It's all out there, folks. Go look at it. And you have to figure out, okay, everybody's going through this. Most people aren't recognizing it. Most people are lying to themselves, but everybody is going through the market downturn, the cash flow crunch, the personal finance crunch. Everybody, but half of them will not tell themselves the truth because they don't want to get rid of the boat. They don't want to get rid of everything.
But like one of Bert, who was on the last podcast and has been on this podcast multiple times, he has a bank friend that deals with, he's in Mountain America and all these, and he has friends in Wells Fargo and that. So he sees the other side of it.
And it's crazy. Utah, like, they're already at 80% vacancy across the board.
The whole
state?
This is
coming from the bank. Yeah. This is coming from the bank.
Is this in housing or both?
Now, downtown Salt Lake's different. Downtown Salt Lake's a little bit up, but if you take an average of the state, it's terrible. And so this banker's just like, why are you guys still building multifamily homes? Nobody's moving into them. And then another thing is, he made the joke. He says, hey, don't buy an RV yet. Buy it in a couple months, because there's a lot of repos coming in. So it's just like, you got to get that insight. And that's what relationships, dude, relationships are so cool, because you get this insight, and you you and I were considering buying a boat. Are we considering it now?
Not after looking at this
chance,
almost like nope.
Like there comes a time, if you're in an industry and it goes down, like for instance, construction is great when interest rates are down.
When interest rates are up, construction is down. There's never been a time that isn't true.
Okay.
But there's always been a time when people try to lie to themselves and say, oh, no, that's not true. Like, we're doing good. No. Like, we're turning a lot, we're turning a lot of money this year still. But guess what? I know where the market's going, so I know it's full of shit.